Good evening, Anne Arundel County. Good evening, America. Welcome to Promoting Don't Get Fooled Again with Class. I believe this is our 46th episode. My name is Anthony Bynum. The name of our production company is the Glen Burnie Players. Now, these are exciting times here in Anne Arundel County, but they're also times of remembrance, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in our show. Before we get started, we want to have a shout out to our affiliates. So let's start off with Greenbelt Cable Access out of PG County. Thank you for running our show. Then we have Anne Arundel County Community TV. Again, thank you for running our show. Amherst Media out of Amherst, Mass. Thank you for running our show. I just received an email from the Manhattan Neighborhood Network. They are the largest cable access provider in the country. But I attended training there a few weeks ago. They sent me an email allowing us to join and adding them as an affiliate. That's a big deal. Very excited about that. There are some events coming up. The Greater Ferndale Civic Community Association has an event for tomorrow, Saturday the 23rd, to see their annual Easter egg roll. It's being held at the Cromwell School, Cromwell Elementary, about 11 o'clock. Now, we may have some inclement weather. I don't know if their plan is to bring things inside or not. I don't know. Bring a coat, bring your children, and be ready to have some fun. On May 18th is Ferndale Day. The same people are bringing that to the community, and they're working hard to make it a great, great day. There's a lot of history with Ferndale Day, and they want to live up to that history. Also, that same day, on the 18th, John Wesley United Methodist Church, Glen Burnie, is holding its Jazzing with the Ushers. And that event starts actually in the evening about 4 o'clock. Wesley Watkins' band, he's a great drummer, Count the Cost, is going to be performing. So if you can make it over to the church, I think you're going to have a good time. Now, we want to give credit where credit's due. For this week's show, we relied on information we received from Wikipedia, but also from the Poem Hunter. And again, on a more sad note, from Singleton Funeral Home. So let's start off with the most admired portion of our program. We're going to go to screen share, or share screen rather. Okay, this week we're going to talk about Jim Brown. Now, he was born James Nathaniel Brown. He was born 2/17/1936. He died 5/18/2023. Now, he was born in a place called St. Simons, Georgia. But he actually went to high school in Manhasset, New York. So I'm going to gather the family must have moved. He went to college at Syracuse, the Orange Crush. Cold up there in Syracuse, by the way. Jim Brown was a great all-around athlete. At Syracuse, he played football and he played lacrosse. He was great in track and field. I don't know if he actually did track and field at Syracuse. I can't imagine them not wanting him on the team, but I don't really know that information. In fact, the premier lacrosse league MVP is named after Jim Brown. He was a unanimous All-American in football. Now, he was he was drafted in the first round, number 6, the 1957 NFL draft. And you have to ask, what 5 guys could have been drafted before him? I have a feeling that Jim Brown could have been put on any position on the field and made a difference. It could have been cornerback. It could have been on the tight end. It could have been defensive line. It really wouldn't have mattered. But, you put a guy like that at running back because running back and quarterback are the 2 most important positions on the field. Chances are Cleveland ran a lot during his career. In fact, in a 9-year career, this guy was an All-Pro 8 times. He ran for 12,312 yards. He had 106 touchdowns. Those were records the day he retired. He was like, the guy was that good. But Jim Brown had 2 other careers in store or in mind. He went into the movies. He got his first big movie role was in 1964. He played a Buffalo soldier, so it was probably an accompanying part in a movie called Rio Goncalves. Conchos, Conchos. But it was MGM's The Dirty Dozen that made this guy's career. He played one of a group of misfits, troublemakers that were assigned special duty prior to the World War II D-Day invasion. Oh boy, there was a lot of names in that movie. I think Charles Bronson was in there. Lee Marvin was the commanding officer. There's a couple other cats too. I remember that movie. Ooh, I haven't seen it for a while, but that was a great movie. He continued to make movies. I know he was in a movie with Raquel Welch, one if not two, and Burt Reynolds. The thing with Jim Brown's movies is they made money, and Hollywood likes to make money. Uh, he had a third career in mind in store. He became an activist. In fact, he was never afraid to speak out about things. I remember it wasn't that long ago where he spoke out about men not wearing their pants properly, not pulling their pants up. He made a big deal out of it. I remember that. And he had presence. The guy had presence. Well, the first major event here, I think it was in it might have been 67, I'm not sure. But he met at a place, something called the Cleveland Summit, where he met with Bill Russell, the great Celtic, Carl Stokes, the great track and field athlete. And, well, it's noted as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but in that time, it was probably Lou Alcindor. It might have been after. It might have been like 68. I'm not exactly sure the year. But they took a stance, or they wanted to support the stance that Muhammad Ali took regarding the Vietnam War. Now, this was at a time where athletes, for the most part, stayed in their lane. The money was just starting to get good. Guys were maybe didn't have to work those second jobs in the summertime to make ends meet. You know what I mean? It was just starting in the late 60s. So he was never afraid to speak his mind. He was never afraid to do what his conscience told him. And that was a big deal. It still is a big deal. Now we're going to go forward in our screen share for the next segment. Okay. So we admit we want to express our condolences to the family of Barbara Moeller. She passed away fairly recently. Barbara Moeller was truly an important person in Anne Arundel County, truly an important person in Glen Burnie. I'm going to tell you why. Now, Barbara was born 1943. She's the daughter of Frank and Elizabeth Moeller. She was born in Baltimore, but the family moved to Glen Burnie in 1948. Barbara graduated from Glen Burnie High School in 1961, and she must have really been something back in those days because she's a founding member of the Glen Burnie High School Alumni Wall of Honor. Volunteering was really big for Barbara Moeller. Her work as a coach of the Glen Burnie Recreation Leagues, her work at the Glen Burnie Unlimited teams in the 60s and 70s just supported that. She was also an entrepreneur when I entered from the obituary. She was always trying to do the next thing. I don't have a lot of information on that, but I can tell you this. It was her work at the Glen Burnie Improvement Association in the annual Glen Burnie Carnival, which made her known as a regional person. I mean, everyone wants to know somebody this important. Now, she got involved with the Glen Burnie Improvement Association, probably somewhere in the maybe in the 80s. I'm not exactly sure when. I know she worked on the board. She was vice president for a while, but she became elected the president in 1998. And she held that position until her recent passing. This was someone of great spirit. She cared about what she was doing. I, met her, not that I was, just happened to meet her because I'd gone to Glen Burnie Carnival and go to the GBIA meetings. So just a presence, a great presence. And, we lost a great person, Barbara Moeller. So we're going to stop the share at this point. Based on the two great people that we covered today, I was looking for something that kind of ties us together, something about the importance of life. And I found a poem, and it's called Importance of Life poem by the author is a P. Yas Waneth. Probably mispronounced that name. Ready. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. Life is a journey with many ups and downs, and there will never be a life without problems and troubles. Life doesn't mean all happiness alone, and we have to face each and every problem. Life is gifted by God, but we have to shape it to have a happy one. Life is a mountain. We have to climb it to achieve success. Life is not how long we have lived, but how we have lived it. Life is not about the past or the present, but it is about the present. Our life is not just for us alone, but it should be there for all. If you enjoy during its first half, you may suffer during the next. If you toil hard in the first, you are rewarded in the next. Life is gifted by God, but we have to build it with our own efforts. Life tastes sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. And so let us have it as it comes by. That's a beautiful poem. That's a beautiful, beautiful poem. So we have a lot going on here in Anne Arundel County. We have the events we discussed. And may everyone enjoy their weekend. I think we may have some rain, but enjoy that weekend anyway. I know I'm going to. So for everyone here at the Glen Burnie Players, again, my name is Anthony. And again, we want to thank our underwriting sponsor, that is the Cleaning Chef. You'll see that name in the credits. So until next time, bye-bye.